I made a video this morning talking about how Russia has gone silent on its propaganda efforts, on its information operations efforts, because they don't know how to respond to losing. They're losing on three fronts right now: Kherson, Kharkiv, really the Kherson, Mykolaiv, the Kharkiv, Izum, and now that we're seeing Severodonetsk, Lysychansk start to have retreats from Russia. They're losing, period. And what we're seeing is the shift now in information operations from lying about winning and lying about defeating the Ukrainians to bolster disappointment from the West so that they pull out. They're now trying to elicit fear. This started with Putin's speech about nuclear weapons, where he made veiled threats and said that if the West has used them like the United States has used them, then we can too. And we're seeing it now. World War III, the hashtag World War III is now trending on Twitter. And people are falling for it. Russia is flooding Twitter with the hashtag World War III in order to elicit fear, and people from Elon Musk to Donald Trump to many Republicans, and I'm a registered Republican. I'm an independent, but I'm registered as a Republican because I vote to keep crazies out of the governor's office in Idaho. But I'm seeing Twitter right now, and there's two things taking place. There's two arenas. The first, and they're both disgusting. The first arena on Twitter is those that are hashtagging World War III because they're using it to score political points against an opposition that objectively supported Ukraine. I support Ukraine. Many millions of people in the U.S. do as well. But there are millions of people that don't support Ukraine merely because of who they follow. Because people like Trump say we shouldn't be supporting Ukraine. Or they allude to it. They allude to World War III is going to take place, which is what Trump did today, saying that the way Biden is handling this is going to lead to World War III. Never in the history of ever have I read ever that when an army is losing, we should be concerned about them escalating to a level that they destroy us. It is pure rhetoric. And people on Twitter are falling for it, hook, line, and sinker, or they're a megaphone for it because it serves them. Because despite the fact that Biden can be quite vexing, he has policies that make me go, not a big fan of that. He's done a fucking good job when it comes to Ukraine. And I'm not going to go into, in the comments or in this video, the things that I'd like about Biden and dislike about Biden or Trump or any of that. Just know that from a geostrategic position, in my knowledge base and experience, Biden has done a very good job on Ukraine. If not, maybe not done enough, but still very good. Now, the other side of this is pure cowardice. Pure cowardice. And it is unbelievable that my generation, a generation of American decision makers, the generation that many of us, millions of us, went to Iraq and Afghanistan and fought, are now watching the younger people who missed out on that. Don't say missed out on, it's a bad thing. It's good that you missed out on that. It's good that you didn't have to go to war. But the younger millennials and Gen X now coming out, or Gen Xers, and Gen Z now coming out saying, I don't want World War III, I don't want to go to war. No shit, no one wants World War III and no one wants to go to war. But it's a sacrifice at this point to stop authoritarian, despotic fascism in every sense of the word. And in every sense of the literal word, fascism is what is embodying Putin. We stood up twice when it wasn't necessary. We stood up for World War I. We stood up for World War II and came over to Europe and helped our European brothers and sisters so we didn't sit back in our cushy fucking living rooms and watch them die on the news. What happened to that population? What happened to them? Did the greatest generation, it's called the greatest generation for a reason, did their influence mean so little that we are now to the point where we're like, fuck it, let a despotic leader kill everyone, do what he wants? Because that's what's going to happen. What's going to happen if the West and the U.S., and I say but they're one and the same essentially, if the U.S. pulls out and says no more money, no more intelligence, no more equipment, nothing for you, Ukraine, what do you think happens? Yeah, Ukraine will hold their own, probably for a couple years. It's only a matter of time. Russia has all the time in the world at this point. They have the resources. Ukraine doesn't. We're giving them the resources. We're giving Ukraine the resources. And you think Putin's going to stop in the Donbass? He said it overtly. He wants to resurrect the Soviet Union. He wants an empire. And he's using his nuclear weapons and now scaring the Western world with hashtags of World War III, trying to get a political divide between Republicans and Democrats because Democrats support Ukraine. So obviously Republicans have to do the opposite. That's where we're at right now. It's either you're against Ukraine, helping Ukraine because it scores you political points, or you're a coward because you're afraid World War III is going to happen. It's not. Putin doesn't have the resources. I don't even think Putin knows what he would do if NATO's full might decided we've had enough of this shit. And I'm not saying that's what we need to do at this point. But one thing we need to do, and it should be very easy, is support our leadership. Whether it's Truss, whether it's Biden, whether it's Macron, whoever, against Putin. Every time you say we should cave to Putin's demands, you're supporting Putin. And every time you support Putin, it just emboldens him to want to continue. To maybe take tactical pauses. Once they take Ukraine, why not take Georgia, Moldova? Oh yeah, the U.S. doesn't show up for either of those. Let's test their will in Article 5. Because let's be real, Russia can't touch the U.S. Is the U.S. going to have the stomach to stop Russia from moving into Poland or Romania? When you read tweets like this, when you read what's going on Twitter with this hashtag, I would say to an average Russian that's part of this blasting out of trending hashtags, they would say, no, U.S. isn't going to come to their aid. Let's keep going. It's sad. That's not Americans. That's not what we were. That's not what we should be. We need to be standing up yet again, together, easily together, in the face of objective evil, and saying, you keep this shit up, I'm gonna fucking rock your world. This right here, this World War III hashtag, is pure Russian propaganda machine driven. And if you are a part of the group that is falling for the fear coming out of that, then you have just been swindled by Russia. You fell for it. And you are exacerbating the problem at this point. And I implore you, at every turn you see something like that, at every case where you see someone standing up and saying, we should just kind of cave to Russia's demands, whether it's Elon Musk or Donald Trump or anyone, we need to push back because it's necessary, or this is going to get worse.